Hey guys, another night back here working on, well, I was going to be working on the bike. I was meant to clean the exhaust out and I haven't actually done that, so I've just cleaned it out. I just water blasted it. I've got to let it dry, otherwise I don't really want to put it on my bike. So that's going to dry overnight and I am working on the Skyline instead. So I'll show you what I'm up to. Yeah, it's a bit diabolical actually. I don't think you can see that in the lighting. Hang on. So I'm pulling it back apart. It's going to be fun. Basically I have no windows, no central locking, anything like that, and I really want it to work. I've found that it's got two sections of a different loom out of the same car, but obviously different application, different motor or something like that, I don't know, but it's not working together, so I've got to make it work together. This is where it gets really interesting. Check this out. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun. Alright guys, let me show you what I've got going on here. So I mentioned before there's two different types of loom in this car, so they're both still out of the same car. So I've got the body loom, which is out of this car as far as I can tell, and then someone's put a different dash loom in it. So I'll show you what I mean. So if we look here, here's the accelerator pedal, and if we go up a little bit, we'll get the torch looking right. So there's this big plug connector and that big plug connector, so they're the same, they hook up. These plugs hook up, and then there's this plug here. It has no mate. There's nowhere to, it just nowhere. There's nothing for it to plug into. So basically this is off a different application, and this is the wire that has all, this is the plug, sorry, that has all the wires for my windows and door locks. As far as I know, in this particular body loom there must be a plug, all the wires must be going into this plug. So yeah, basically I've got another loom which has this plug in it. I'm just going to take the other side of it, sit it here and run the wires to where they need to go. Well, that's the plan anyway. I'll see how I go. So this is that plug connector that I was talking to you about before. So there's two big plugs. There's that plug, and then I've got that plug down there, but I've also got this plug, which isn't on my loom. And if I look at the dash loom, it does have the other side of it, but I only need this side of it. So my plan is, hopefully, I'm just going to cut this loom back, take just these wires and this plug connector and work out where they join up. I'll either swap the terminals over and put the terminals from my loom into the back of this plug, or I'll just cut and join. Hopefully that will work, but we'll see how we go. So happy right now. Okay, so I pulled the plug out of that loom, just the plug itself. I didn't pull the whole freaking thing apart, I didn't cut anything. And have a look here. So all I've done is pulled the terminals out of this wire and put them all into this plug, plugged the plug in that had nowhere to go to, and get a load of this. Actually, get my torch yet. You have to watch the rear one because the front one has a dodgy solenoid. It unlocks, and even better, oh, I'm so excited about this. This is awesome. Turn the ignition on. I have my window winder switch here. Oh yeah, the window goes down. Whew. Here I was thinking I was going to have to swap a whole loom over. Not the case, guys. And just for good measure, rear windows work. Okay, I've got one window that doesn't work, but the front one goes down. These ones go up and down, and the driver's one goes up and down. I'm so happy. I don't have to pull the whole car apart. All I got to do is put some trims back together and she's set to go. And then I can start working on my fuel pump. Hell yeah! So I've been having this issue with this for a while, where it bogs out really badly. So I'll go to put my foot down and it'll just die. So I've been trying to diagnose it. There was heaps of issues that were sort of causing that issue, but I've actually found what it is now. I hooked a fuel pressure gauge, went for a drive, and it loses fuel pressure. So the only thing I can think of that can cause that is the fuel tank is really clogged up in this with rusty scale and shit like that. I'll show you soon. It was sitting for about 6 years, so I'm not surprised, to be honest. So I'm just going to pull the fuel tank out. I've got another one upstairs which is nice and clean, ready to go, so I'm just going to pull the old one out, chuck the new one in, we'll be all set. Alright, let's have a look at what this thing looks like. I have a feeling it's going to be pretty ugly. One thing I can say is it doesn't smell as bad as what it used to. Yeah, it's not actually as bad as I thought. It's still pretty clogged up though. I'll just pull that out, set it on the ground over here for now. Let's have a good look inside there. Yeah, she's still brown. Look at that rust scale all over everything. It's just packed. Alright, let's get this fuel tank out. I'm over it. Over it, guys. Nice new clean tank. There's an SD card and some bolts in there. That'll pull them out. Just for comparison. Okay, so while the Utes off the road getting work done, I'm still having to do work on the Skyline. I thought it was pretty reliable, but it was having issues where it was bogging out really badly. I found it was losing fuel pressure. It was being a pain in the ass having to hook up the fuel pressure gauge all the time, so I've got one that's going to be hardwired into it. This is the gauge here, that's just the sender for now. So, oops, a bit closer. And there's the sender unit and the wee adapter, which I'm going to hook up now. Cool, so I found this wee bracket here. It was originally for holding pipes or something like that, but it seems to be doing an alright job at holding my fuel pressure sender. So I'm just going to cut that pipe, join it, and now I've got to run a wire through the firewall for it. We're plumbed up, we're wired up, all set to go. Let's see if this thing works. Alright, it works. Let's see if there's any leaks. Safe as houses. Alright, well that's done. I'm going to do some work on the ute. We'll take that for a drive later. Last night I gave it a paint job just on the roof. Just slowly working my way around the car. It's just a rattle can job. I will paint it properly one day, but right now I just want it to be one colour. So, but right now I'm going to work on this guard here, which as you can see, it's sort of hard in the light, but there's some pretty thick layers of bog. I sort of sanded down some lines so that I could see it properly, and it's just got bog patches all through it. So I'm going to try and get all the bog off, get it as straight as possible, and this side here doesn't line up very well either, so I'm going to just strip both rear quarter panels down basically,
And yeah, if I can get them back to some bare metal, get some primer on there, and then I can start working away, panel beating it, hopefully get it fitting a bit nicer. So yeah, I'm going to go chuck some ovals on and rip into these guards. Right, so I got the tail light off and the rear bumper off, so I actually don't know what the best procedure is to get bog off, so I've got one of these, just a wire brush on a drill. I'll rip into it. At the end of the day, the guard underneath is already dented up, so it doesn't really matter if I do any more damage to it, I guess. Now that I've got a layer of that bog off, you can see how thick it is, and it was actually thicker right on the edge here. So it's a good centimetre thick there, maybe 5 mils to a centimetre. It sort of tapers off a bit, but it's hard to tell. But it was at least a centimetre thick right at the edge here. I just wasn't happy with that, and it also didn't line up with the tail light or anything, so hence why I'm pulling it apart. Get everything lining up. And you see these stripes, or I've just dug into it to see how deep it was. Not too bad down here, along here further down, but right at this panel here it was quite thick, and there's a patch in here somewhere and up here. These ones weren't too bad, but still I'm just going to strip it all back. I don't know what I'm dealing with. Last update for the night. So this thing. This is Phoebe's R31 Skyline. Callum's been here tonight working on it. Finished up with this now for tonight anyway. I've put some primer over the exposed metal and I've put the bumper back on. I just need to drill some new holes for the number plate because the bolts broke on that. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, but anyhow. I have not managed to do this guard here. I started sanding it because I had a flat battery on the drill. I couldn't do the other side, but anyhow. So yeah, that's all for tonight. We'll be back here, well I'll be back here tomorrow. Not doing any more work on this, I'm going to work on my engine for the ute, which I really wanted to show you this. I probably could have done it tomorrow, but I just had to get it out of the way. This is a RB20 DE block as opposed to my RB20E. Apparently these things have a full bearing cradle as opposed to the E's have individual bearing caps. I'll explain that more when I get the engine apart, but at some point this will come apart. So the bearing cradle is stronger, hence why an RB20 DE is going to be better than the E block. And it gives me the opportunity to give it a freshen up. I can chuck a set of rings and bearings at it. Yeah, give it a bit of a paint job or something cool, which would be awesome. Yeah, and also this is the ute that I was talking about. This is my daily driver. That's what the turbo diesel engine is going to be going into. So this has got a cracked head on it as it is. So there's no point fixing a non-turbo engine when I have a turbo engine sitting there ready to go in it. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Can't wait to rip into it. This is probably going to end up sitting around for quite a while because yeah, too many other things going on and not enough money, but we will get there. So just a wee update. So yeah, this is definitely the last update for tonight. I'm out of here now, so we'll catch up tomorrow.